Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Sally Good. You are welcome today to the podcast, Good Body, Good Brain. And today I am so pleased to have, I won't say that we had the same mother, but we've definitely got the same heart. We're both love the work that we do with women entrepreneurs and coaching, but we're also love this other side of being very techie. I've gotten lost in vibe coding lately. So I'm sure we're going to talk about the intersection of humanity and AI somewhere along the line. But I'm now introducing Dr. Heather Tucker, who happens to be from the state of Virginia in a little beautiful little town called Painter. And I'm going to give you a little bit about her bio right now. She's a business life harmony success coach. She guides women entrepreneurs to break free from overwhelm and step into their greater calm. Keep calm, live aloha. Confidence and client flow. She's been combining her expertise in coaching, communication, and human-computer interaction. She helps clients attract ideal clients and charge what they're really worth. And I do this thing like earn what you're worth too, yeah. And she creates freedom and certainty across their business, relationships, and life. Through her coaching and certification programs, Dr. Heather has guided clients to master their inner world and to move forward in their business. Her approach blends strategy, mindset, and energy mastery to create lasting results. And I'm going to skip over here and say that she's also the project manager and lead author of the 2 times International Bestseller Series of Power of Coaching. She's also the host of an online entrepreneur sensation called the Freedom Friday Show, where she inspires business owners to lead with confidence and purpose to create their unique biz life harmony. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. Dr. Heather, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, Dr. Sally, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here with you today.
So, what would you like to tell our listeners about what you do with Biz Life Harmony?
Oh, okay. So a lot of people will ask me, like, Heather, what is Biz Life Harmony? And I talk about business and life harmony because it really is 2 sides of the same coin. We never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And it is possible to work smarter, stress less, strengthen our relationships, and lead with much more energy, ease, and momentum so that we can increase our calm, our confidence, and our cash and client flow. And what's interesting about this whole journey is that this is where the human computer interaction and the techie piece comes in, is because the more technology harmony you have allows you to have more business harmony, and that also allows you to have more life harmony. It's a beautiful cyclic process. And when we own that in our unique kingdom or queendom, owning our uniqueness and greatness it brings so much passion and joy to being an entrepreneur and all the other many roles that we have in our beautiful life.
Oh, I love that, because I don't know if you heard Elon Musk a couple of months ago. He said, by the end of this year, people will have more time on their hands to be creative, because we're going to take the mundane and we're going to give it to AI, and we're going to let it do all the things that normally chug up our mornings. And it's already going to be done when we wake up. It's going to give us a brief, an overview, and we're going to be able to spend much more time with our own health, our relationship with others, and how we can be more with our families.
This is such a good message that you're sharing, because it is the perfect time for that technology harmony and being able to embrace that automation. There's some things that get in the way on the life side and the business side of that, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But when you're actually able to leverage AI, automation, having your ideal systems that work in your big picture of your business, like that is something that is just so powerful. How to get there, though, is what I want to talk about. Because a lot of times, one of the things that I've been hearing is, man, Dr. Heather, I'm overwhelmed. I have a computer and I have all these tabs open and there's so much going on in my mind. My God, I have my phone at my hand. So it's like we can spend so much time on the computer that we don't get a chance to really be able to be present with ourselves, with our loved ones, and in nature. And I'm on a mission to change that. Because
Mm,
what if we could be able to have all of this beautiful harmony and happiness with how our system is operating, our business is operating, whether we're actively there or not? Where does it come from first? Is winning your inner world to master your outer world. So, why is this something that's so important? Is because we can get caught up in all of, like, for example, the technology piece. We can get caught up in all of these different systems and all of these different places, and there's an overwhelm there. But if we're confused in our mind, and if we're confused in our heart, and if our body doesn't feel good fully when we are actually working on all of these things and showing
mhm,
up,
mhm,
then that energetically causes, how can I say, burnout, exhaustion. It can cause us to not really be able to show up in our full light. And then, how it trickles into the process of everything that we do. For example, we are, as entrepreneurs, aware of marketing and selling. Usually I hear, oh, I just got to market. I got to market better, and then I can sell and serve better. But as we go on this journey of entrepreneurship, we become aware of how important the branding is, right?
oh, yes,
And even before that, though, what is before the branding is you.
your
And your
vision, your mission.
Yes. And our business is an extension of all that we are. So if
Mhm,
there's anything conflicted and divided within us, it trickles into the entire process,
mhm.
which is why we want to be able to save, or change that. And so my message today is about winning your inner world to master your outer world, and all of those other beautiful things has much more flow.
Yes, and it starts from like whatever our alignment is based on. Where do we receive the source code, our own source code, to be able to create this life? And you know, I've shared many times where my source code is way up here. You know, my Lord and my Jesus is my source code. And when I think about that, and now we're in the AI intervention, I'm calling it anointed imagination,
Nice.
because when we use the word artificial, it came out of our heads and it's very much organic. We thought of all this stuff already. We did the initial coding. We did create the large language models. We did all that. And now they're learning to teach each other how to be better at what they do. So yes, I can make a case that probably God was the original entrepreneur, because he said, "Let there be light." He spoke words into existence, and that's what we can do now. And we have his DNA because we're made in his image.
Oh my goodness, I love that. What a beautiful reminder, sis, because as you were talking, I was thinking about the scripture that our company is founded on is Mark 3:25. And that says, if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And I want you to think not just about our physical home. And yes, a big part of this journey is being able to understand all of the thoughts and energy and emotions of other people, even in your family, and having harmony there, along with
Mhm,
your own emotions and thoughts and
mhm,
feelings. And not just thinking about like your physical home, but also recognizing that even your body's a home. This is why I love how
mhm,
you talk about good body, good brain. It is about the wholeness, the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. And how are we aligned in that? And when we take actions from there,
mhm.
every single step, when we operate out of our wisdom, every single step that we take is right. So no more second guessing, no more doubt, uncertainty of, how it's going to play out. We just know the way to go. There's another part of this too, is that you look at it like your business is a home. And so we
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that there's wholeness to that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical aspect of that as well. And when that's in harmony and you're in harmony, then we can just go and connect and shine and be in that space to be able to see everyone that we meet as if they're the
Mm-hmm.
one that could have a next idea that's something that we can be able to leverage, or the one that leads us to a person that we may be called to connect with and work with. It is this part about recognizing that there's all these differences, but big picture, we are all one. And so
Yes.
I like the terminology from yoga when I go namaste. The light
Namaste.
in
Yes.
me, yes, sees and honors the light in you.
Right.
So this
Right.
part about winning your inner world,
Mm-hmm.
it's about really owning and seeing your beautiful light, right? And owning that
Yes.
uniqueness and greatness 100%. So then you can really even be able to see the beauty in every single person, even if they may not even be aware of it for themselves.
Oh, and that is to me is the most exciting thing about coaching and bringing women to their highest potential is to see them light up from the inside out, to take their light out off, take the bushel thing off of it and let their light shine like a lighthouse. Just it just glows. And yes, when that happens, there'll be people around them that they will be scared. They will say, "What is going on with you?" Or things like, "Who do you think you are?" Well, uh, I tell also all of my people, especially women, we're acculturated to serve, not shine.
Mm.
And we're so brought up to serve other people, spouses, family, even in businesses, all those kinds of things. But recognizing that we also are all part of that unit to serve and receive. Because receiving, because if this cup right here, it is half full with water, but a lot of women are walking around with an empty one. And and noticing that they have an empty cup and not feeling selfish because God doesn't want us to be walking around with an empty cup. He wants us to experience life to its fullest. That's why he gives us all these fantastic scripture and studies. And one of my favorites is 2 Timothy 1:7, where it says, "We were not given the spirit of fear, but the power of love, power, and self control." And sometimes it says the strong inner mind, depending on which version. So we're not brought into this world with a spirit of fear. As
Correct.
babies, we only fear one thing, and that's the fear of falling. Everything else gets layered on as we grow up.
It's interesting that you share that, because as you said, that so many women are walking around with this empty cup, and it's almost like we've normalized the burnout, the overwhelm, the
Mhm.
exhaustion. And I'm here to be an interrupter of that pattern and say, oh no, give from your overflow. Allow your cup to be so full
Mhm.
that when you give from your overflow, people feel it as if it's like 100% to them, and that way we stay full. And then recognizing when it's like, okay, cool, I need a reset. Like, you are
Mhm.
worthy of a reset and a
Mhm.
recharge. So living the mom, wife, and CEO life here on my side, married with 3 kids. Youngest one is 3, the oldest one is 12. And I recognize, even just a couple of like a month ago, I'm like, it might be time for a retreat. And I
Mhm.
had a retreat coming up in my local area, and a friend of mine who was hosting it, she's like, Heather, I need your registration. And I'm like, okay, it's time to make a decision. It's like, how can I create the calm
Mhm.
before the expansion? Because I knew there was a lot of things coming up, but the question is, there's a lot of stuff to do. How do
Yes.
we want to be while we're doing it is the
Mhm.
biggest thing. So a lot of times that reset, that recharge allows you to be able to go and be of service even at another level.
Yeah, we think of the balm of Gilead. We think of like how we are given tools to reinfuse ourselves. We're told to meditate. We're supposed to meditate so that we can receive, and that means being still and being quiet. Be still and know that I am Lord. To be
Yeah.
able to be still, and that's what the greatest thing about being out in nature. To me, nature is like the most healing thing that we can do when you're upset or struggling. Just walk outside and take a walk, especially
Yeah.
now we're in the middle of spring.
So perfect weather, right? I've been embracing every single moment, taking the family out for walks in the park and playing on the playground, ready to
Mhm.
go to the beach. Nature is like because we are nature, right?
Yes, we are.
It is our natural
Mhm.
resource to be replenished.
Yes, and
And good
walking,
thing,
yeah, and
yeah.
walking barefoot. In Hawaii, we hardly ever wear shoes, and then when we do, they're usually flip flops. And even when we go to church, I have pictures of going to church, and outside of church are just rows and rows and rows of flip flops because we go inside barefoot. And
Mm.
there's a sign that says, "Brada, take one better. You take your own back, right?"
Ah, that's so good. And see, that's the thing, it's freely given, it's freely available. Like, and the return on investment is like plentiful.
Right, 10, 100 times more.
I there's something I want to share with y'all that as we were talking is probably even better part of our conversation today.
Mhm,
But one of the things that was coming from the win your inner world to master your outer world that I wanted to highlight right now
mhm,
is there's a framework for the word world, and the
mhm.
L stands for our love can heal all things. Your love can heal all things. So it's this part about this balance, and you shared this before, like this ebb and flow of giving and receiving, honoring yourself and others equally, especially yourself. So therefore you can give from your overflow, right? And a lot of times it's the matters of the heart that plague the mind the most, right?
Mhm.
And especially if it's something that we're called to do something maybe or create something we've never created before, or take this action that's going to lead us to our amazing fruit. So for example, there's this great scripture or quote by Robert Campbell, and he says, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek.
I love
And
that.
so,
Love that.
yes, such a powerful quote, because a lot of times that treasure is right there. So when we break free from the fear and the uncertainty or the doubt or the overwhelm, and we take the divine inspired action and operate it out of our wisdom to bring whatever that into fruition of reality, um, we then realize that maybe the things that we were worried about or weren't sure about actually are irrelevant because it's done. There's a scripture in my kitchen, and it says, let all that you do be done in love.
Yes.
Let all that you do be done in love. And it's like your unconditional love, and it's not, and the more that you have that unconditional love for yourself and for God, for self, it's actually even more natural for you to be able to have that unconditional love for others, which could absolutely change so many relationships in this world. A lot of it has to do with forgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
Forgiveness is
Oh,
a
yeah. Oh,
gift.
yes. And, in my journey, like doing some teledoc stuff, I get to the privilege of meeting people from literally all over the world, whether it's Saipan or Oman or Cyprus or Gibraltar or all those different places who have different things going on, but they're all wrestling with the same part of humanity. We want to be better people and we want to treat others better. But until we have that core inside, I'm going to treat myself the way I want others to be treated, that we have that self-acceptance, that self-love, that self-compassion, empathy. How are we going to give it out to the people in our lives?
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Which is why I was led to want to talk more about the connection piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, so now that we got this idea of, okay, I'm able to give from my overflow, be in this unconditional love. When we're able to feel so good in that, in our inner world,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes easier to connect with other people and actually create your unique client attraction success. So one of the things that happens where, a lot of times we think that it's more marketing strategies, more content, more visibility, but most successful leaders, they understand something different, right? That client attraction is not primarily a marketing challenge. It is the connection and communication challenge. And so when we learn how to build authentic relationships, ask powerful questions, communicate with confidence and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
then we naturally attract the people who we're aligned to work with. And
Yes.
that is something that is super, super important. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a connect framework that I had created.
Oh, yes. Let me hear about it. I love
Yes.
it.
Okay, perfect. So
Mhm.
the connect framework, I want you to just write down the word connect. And the first letter, the C, the first letter, the C, stands for claim the identity of a transformational leader, the transformational leader that you are. So here's the interesting thing. I know for me, I resisted leadership for quite some time. Everybody wanted to put me in leadership positions. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. However, as an entrepreneur, guess what? You're the leader. Oh my goodness. If you're a mom, guess what? You're a leader,
Mhm.
right? Even like you are leading so many people in your world and may not even know it. But when the moment you stop trying to convince people to work with you, or starting to show up and start showing up as someone committed to helping others succeed and grow, as just with your presence alone,
Mhm.
then it gives other people that inspiration. Have you ever tried to like change your family or change someone else? Like maybe years ago. However, we can't change anyone. Everyone has their own unique mind, body, heart, and
Mhm.
soul. And it took me a while to realize that. Like, oh my goodness, my body, mind, heart, and soul is unique. Oh, their mind, body, heart, and soul is unique. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, how can I best be the example and be the change that I want to see? It has a lot to do with us changing and owning that beauty of us as the lighthouse leader that we are.
Yeah, and the bioenergetic shift that happens in within ourselves, and that's who you bring you forth the people that you really would like to work with, and it also repels the ones that you shouldn't be working with.
That is so true and it's so good. It's almost like, for me, what I've realized is that the people that are not aligned to the message, like my work is like a gorilla to them. There's so many other things they may not even come across it,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And there's a
mhm,
beautiful thing because the right people. What does a lighthouse leader do? It stands, shines its light bright. This is who I am. This is how I
mhm,
serve, and the right boats come in.
mhm.
It's a beautiful thing than just trying to be out there to like figure out like who. No, just be naturally who you are. And I love that you mentioned the bioenergetics of it because that leads to the O. The O stands for open your energy to connection
Mhm.
and possibility. Like your energy communicates before your words ever do. So when your energy is grounded in service, belief, and possibility, you fully believe in your products and your services, like so congruently that you know you can support and facilitate change and transformation. Your energy is what creates a powerful invitation for connection.
Mhm.
This actually trickles into the process of even how we're connecting via technology.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that.
And so when I don't know if you know Allie K. Miller. She's one of the luminaries in the AI world. She's been an
No.
engineer, et cetera, for 25 years, and now she does a lot of consulting for big high enterprise people. And she also is really sort of devoted to having the beginner actually start learning. And I think in a way, because I do love the geeky part of going down that rabbit hole of figuring out how all these things connect together. And we're at the perfect intersection, Heather, of being psychology, coaching, and AI. Because we have so many people in our worlds that are so afraid of AI. It's like the fourth disruptor: fire,
Yes. Yes.
electricity, the steam engine,
Ooh, I feel the goosebumps as it's
the
coming.
printing press. And here we go. It's going to go faster than we have ever seen. People say, well, why don't you write a book about this? I said, honey, by the time I write this book, it's going to be obsolete.
So this part about technology harmony and
Yes.
AI is also something that's important too, because
Mhm.
a lot of it has to do with the emotions and the feelings of how you are being towards it, or
Mhm.
how even you're being when you're using it. So look at it like an extension of your brain support, brain and heart and body support, not something to replace it,
Right.
right?
A collaborator.
It's a collaborator. And
Mhm.
so that a lot of times it kind of reminds me of the fear of when, the TV came out. Like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
right? And everybody was freaking out because, oh my goodness, this is TV, this is gonna take over things. It was like, or even when the cell phone came out, a lot of people excited about it.
Mhm.
So all these things, these technology evolutions, it's so important to be able to have a neutrality and then an awareness of,
Mhm.
okay, how do I want to use it? Do I not want to use it? And like just be congruent with it and not overwhelmed or have a charge against it,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's
Because, I tell
good.
people, look, AI was created by humans. Uh, it won't replace creativity because, first of all, humans are really messy, and AI is not messy. I mean, sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to get those webhooks working, but once you get it done, it's set. But we're always changing. And if I were a humanoid AI robot and I'd be looking at humanity, I would say, "Wow, how am I going to ever figure out these kind of things called people? They're so messy. They don't ever do the same thing twice. Sometimes they even change their mind in the middle of a sentence."
Well, and this is one of the reasons why I love communication mind mastery and understanding, what is always the deeper meaning behind the communication. Like,
Mhm.
where is that hidden unconscious success block? Because we're talking here also about good body, good brain. When
Mhm.
our mind and our body and our heart and even our energy is working out of wholeness,
Mhm.
as compared to part of me wants to do this, part of me wants to do that. My mind says this, my heart says this, my body says this. Like that in itself creates a lot of internal stress.
Yeah. And it burns up a lot of energy, and you feel tired all the time and overwhelmed.
Correct. Correct. This is why another part of technology harmony is organization and clarity.
Mhm.
For example, how many unread emails do we have? Like I actually just took a moment to like yesterday go through all my downloads, delete what needs to be deleted,
Mhm.
go back through old emails, delete those, cleaning up, having how do you want to organize and communicate with your team.
Right.
That part of having that business structure and foundation structure is something that's so important, because guess what it allows us to do, Dr. Sally? Guess what it allows us to do? It allows us to better do the first N. The first
Right.
N of connect is nurture relationships that build trust.
Mhm.
So successful businesses are built on relationships, not transactions. When
Right.
you focus genuinely understanding and supporting others, trust deepens. And also it's about really being able to trust yourself and that quick decision making, and
Mhm.
recognizing what works with you, what doesn't work with you, and having that beautiful ecosystem that you get to create. I
Mhm.
think a lot of this part too is that, like for example, if we're charged by AI, if there's a trigger on AI, or a
Mhm.
trigger on some kind of overwhelming technology, or even triggered by somebody else,
Mhm.
that is actually giving our power away to that very thing. So this is
Mhm.
so interesting because a lot of times we get that. What does that do? It creates more overwhelm, more
Mhm.
stress, more doubt. So this is why true entrepreneurship freedom comes from the inside out, not the outside in.
I tell some of my clients that we have landmines in our minds, and they've been put there since we were little. And sometimes we don't even know where they are until we get in relationship with someone else. And relationship is the best therapy there is. If you want to start peeling that onion off and find out who you really are, try doing it with another human being and see what happens. And those minds are sitting in there, and all of a sudden we're with another person and they say something that is so contrary to what we've been brought up to believe that we go, like, where did that come from? That's not true. That's not true. And we have our own individual little truths, and it creates such a reactivity. And I say, when you can judge your reactivity to something that's new to you, you can tell, am I reacting because of the past, or am I reacting because I'm afraid for the future? And then
Mm.
you can diffuse it, because one of our goals is to diffuse all those landmines that are hanging around up there.
You know, and I love, like, it's almost like we can geek out on this because in my work, it's like I teach my clients how to celebrate their overreactions, or when it's almost like when the communication goes across like a Pandora's, what I call like a Pandora's box in the mind.
Mhm.
Some, like you said, belief or thought or past significant emotional event, or even like something is triggered. That's great because then when it's triggered, like, overreactions are never really about the present moment. They're all
No.
about the previous moments all leaking up and getting like
Mhm.
this overreaction. Great, we can go back and figure out, where did this come from? What is the root cause? Did this, some of the stuff that triggers us internally didn't even come from us. It's like, for example, like, some things are genetically passed down, like
Mhm.
emotions and stuff like
Mhm.
that. When we get back to the root cause and we pluck things up from the root, it doesn't grow back. It takes the pressure off and heals the past. You know, because God really called us to live in the present. And that naturally expands our vision and our enjoy walking in wherever He's taking us.
Yeah, and he calls us to be his arms and legs and eyes and mouth and thoughts and whatever, because we're down here and we're communicating what he wants our world to actually become. And I am so fortunate I get to talk in panels at Getherverse, and it's getherverse.org, and it's it's really about the intersection of humanity and AI, and how we're going to learn from each other. Because as I work with Claude, or even now OpenClaw, as I work with those entities, they're learning about me. And one of the things that Ali Miro said yesterday, she says in Southern Cal, they're always like doing something, like some nouveau thing that's coming up. Each person that's in tech has their own personal constitution, their mission statement, and it's long. It's like all our beliefs in different areas of what it is. And she says, I have a prompt, and I put the prompt on, and then Claude interviews me. And sometimes I feel like I tell more stuff to Claude than I would to be a living person. And it is really true. It's really true. But Claude gets to know us, and it's forming a model of us in its own ecosystem. So it's a bi-directional kind of thing. We're not getting it to be our slaves. It's interacting with us on a level that we've never had in technology before.
Correct. Correct. And you know, one of the things I think sometimes people can get overwhelmed by the amount of information that it may give us back.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
there's something about that too, is this is when you have that clarity of who you are, and you know how you serve, you are congruent with your message and how you support others. Then it's easy to be able to have, like, to look through whatever massive list they give you and
Mhm.
know which exact parts connect to you and your business.
Yes, yes. And I do so want, I call myself women of a certain age. I do so want women of a certain age, different ethnicities, different belief systems, different parts of the world, whether it's Pakistan or um, places where women aren't given the same kind of freedoms that we are. I want them to be part of the development of AI because it needs to serve everybody, not just the high techie people.
That's
It
true.
needs to serve everybody because if we don't encourage women particularly to jump on this boat, no matter how they use it, and everybody says, "Oh, I use Chat GPT all the time." I said, "Honey, that is just the tiniest little touch of the iceberg out there." I said, "Underneath it is so many other things that you could be doing for yourself, so you'd have so much more time to be with your kids or to be with your clients and not worry about all this other stuff going on. Not worry about those emails. I'm going to get Claude to clean that up. He's going to clean up my desktop. Holy cow. We look at our desktops and like, how many icons do we have on there? Well, in like literally 3 minutes, Claude can fix that for us and put them in nice little tidy folders. It would have taken me 2 hours to do it. It takes them three,
Yes.
3 minutes.
See, and that's one of the things of why I am in this season called to talk about connection and technology harmony even more.
Mm-hmm.
Because whereas this something that comes naturally to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Right.
something that is not so natural to so many people. How do you put this and have these systems that are like um simple, easy to use, easy to create like operating procedures for, easy to have allow other people to be able to support you with managing it as well. But creating more time freedom, I believe, is such a powerful thing right now. Time and money and love freedom, we need that. We get to have that. And it is really possible when we leverage and we have that beauty in our organization of our harmony in technology and in business and in life.
Yes. And I think really, Heather, before we reach the point where, well, first of all, we've got to be teaching to people who are 6 years old. We've got to be doing that now.
Mm.
Now.
So, one of the pieces to this technology harmony that I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about is recognizing that the unconscious mind cannot distinguish between reality and fantasy.
Yes. That's why we
And
have so many gamers.
yes, yes, and we've seen also as the gaming has increased that it's been even easier for more people to carry out some of those things in reality. Like we have an increase in mass shootings, we have an increase in all this. And even being able to teach and talk about technology harmony at a younger age is
Mm-hmm.
something that's so powerful. That was actually, I'm realizing, was one of the reasons why I got out of the hardcore IT
Mm-hmm.
because I was seeing how there was a disconnection with I studied human computer interaction,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a disconnect in human interaction, and that was going to grow as
Mm-hmm.
technology grew.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh well, how can we shift that? How can we shift that? So even paying attention to how much we are on technology per
Mm-hmm.
day, how much our kids are on technology, how can we balance that out? And paying attention of being a much more harmonious steward of leveraging the services that bring us more freedom, not being a slave to it.
Yes. And I heard a stat the other day. It was on another panel summit, and the stat was about a woman who was teaching kids using XR, using a lot of actually being totally into an environment, particularly kids that were neurodivergent. And she went and asked a lot of Gen Zers, and I think she asked about 1,000. It was a survey, and she asked them how many of them had a best friend and how many were in their friend circle. Like I'm talking about living, breathing entities, right? And it was a sad commentary. Only about maybe 20% of all the people she polled had a best friend.
Wow. Yes. So we want to be able to change that for sure. We want
Yes.
to be able to change that because a lot of like I'm thinking about the generation in the Bible where just the loss of wisdom from one generation to another completely lost the wisdom of, and people had, they had to, God had to reconnect them to the message again. We want to make sure that our our future generations, our children now, are also operating out of their wisdom and
Yes.
creating their own, stepping into their own confidence and worthiness and connection to everyone. So, how can we have harmony there? That's a big piece as well. I think that the technology evolution has also been a big component of how it's impacted relationships as well.
Yeah.
So,
And in the corporate world, infusing things like kindness, empathy, compassion, and this has to be leadership trickle down. Leadership has to step up and say, our corporate culture is this. And if you've ever investigated some of the AI companies and you look at what their corporate culture is, if they have very, very strict ways of interacting with the AI, both within their culture and with external to their culture.
nice.
And one of the companies that we both know well has the 4Ds, and the last one is diligence. We will diligently make sure that AI is used for good,
Nice.
and that requires a lot of guardrails. Um, but we have no control over the people who live in countries that don't have guardrails.
Right.
So almost we're playing a zero sum game right now, because if we lose the AI race as we know it, we will be losing the space race. We will be losing much bigger, bigger, bigger things. Because let's face it, hyperscalers, sorry, people who are not techie, those are going to be the actual physical plants that house the hardware that makes the software move, and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger because we need more space, we need more chips, we need different kinds of chips. And on Earth, what limits us is, first of all, we can't get enough electricity. We need water to cool down the systems. And three, we have so much EMF interference that the signal strength is much less. So if we take all this and we put it outside the Earth in huge, huge arrays of satellites that all are talking to each other, AI can become really faster, bigger. I'm totally convinced that within the next 2 years, we will find the cure for cancer, diabetes, and all the major illnesses that plague us.
Well, the big picture, I so appreciate you sharing that. The big picture is that to recognize that that technology can strengthen human connection. It should never replace authentic connection. It just is
Mhm.
allowed to be able to amplify it. And that's what we
Mhm.
want to understand, because when we use it, or when it's used intentionally, the right tools allow your message, your relationships, and your impact to reach the people who need it the most. And that's one of the reasons why
Yes.
it's important now for us to be more seen, heard, and felt, and sharing our messages with the world. Now is the time. So, therefore, your message continues to grow as all these technologies are growing too.
And here is really a good stat. In terms of being an expert in AI, we're talking about a year and a half of people who actually started working with all these models, etc. So we're only just a little bit behind. So the catch up time can get faster and faster. So no matter how you feel, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you feel like you're left behind and you're overwhelmed, you're not. There's plenty of ways to learn how to use this technology that benefits both you and your family, and not to be frightened of it. to use it, because that's what it's here for. It was created as a big tool to help us become more human and use our creativity in ways that AI can't.
Yes. Well, and Dr. Sally, do you have any questions for me regarding
How,
that?
and when you're working with all your entrepreneurs, you mentioned that sometimes they were a little afraid of using AI from the get-go. What do you tell them that helps them overcome those fears?
Before you can really embrace the power and utilize um, AI in the most ideal, right way for you, it is essential to be able to make sure that you have clarity, confidence, and congruence in who you are and how you want to use it to amplify you, not
Mhm.
replace you, but how, and when you have that clarity on how specifically you want to use it, then that will actually start to create, because what creates the most confusion and overwhelm a lot of times is the lack of clarity, and there's nothing more generative than clarity. So when you have that clarity, then you can know, okay, how I want to use it. Well, how can I leverage it, or not? Because
Mhm.
that's the thing. There's so many pieces. A lot of times we can get a piece of software, a piece of technology, and we may only use a little bit of it.
Yes.
It could do so much more.
Mhm.
And as long as you have um, the peace within of your being,
Mhm.
that's going to support you in recognizing, okay, how and when I want to do this. I'll give you an example. Um, that'll also help it make you feel like you're not like it's not taking over, or it's not like you're not giving your power away to it. Years ago, my friend, one of my best friends, had asked me, or she had challenged me to come off Facebook for a week.
Mhm.
And I said, all right, I think I could do that. Now, again, I was usually on Facebook a lot. I was on
Mhm.
Facebook a lot back then. And so she challenged me to come off Facebook for a week. And I ended up turning it to a month. I ended up coming off Facebook for a month. And
Mhm.
I even had a couple of people reach out to me, hey, Heather, you okay? I haven't seen you, blah, blah, blah. But in that time, first, I was able to recognize, wow, there's a little bit of an addiction to this Facebook here. Like, we got to break free from these like addiction symptoms, because I feel
Mhm.
like that's me giving my power away a little bit to Facebook.
Yeah, and
Um,
and it's a time suck.
correct, and it's
You
a
look at the
time suck.
clock and holy cow, 2 hours when it went somewhere.
Yes. So then let me tell you what happened. As I was able to navigate that process and have more of a neutrality with it, then I could ask the question, well, you know what? How do I want to use Facebook from now on?
Mhm.
And it allowed me to be able to recognize, okay, now I get to choose how I want to use this. Well, one, I definitely want to use it to spread my business and share my message.
Mhm.
Number two, every once in a while, I do want to show people my beautiful Aloha life side,
Mhm.
right? And pictures of the kids, and pictures of me. But big picture, these are how I want to use it. Anything else is kind of irrelevant. Staying connected with friends and family and loved ones, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
It was this part of recognizing how, first of all, who I am, how do I want to use this, and then taking ownership of that relationship in a beautiful way. It's the same exact thing when it comes to AI.
Yes, and an engineer said to me, he said, "Before you do anything, take a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and map out your path before you do the very first module, because you don't want to be building the airplane as we're flying."
Correct.
So
Correct.
you, and that cut, then we're back to clarity again. Where are we starting? Where do we want to end up? And what are the train stations along the way?
That's it. That's exactly it. So, yep, that's exactly what I tell them. And then the cool thing about it is there is neutrality either way. Whether
Mhm.
they're like, you know, Heather, I checked in with me. I actually don't really want to use it. I just want to go ahead and do awesome. Or
Mhm.
wow, Heather, I see how this can be a really great tool for me to be able to leverage. And now I see how it fits into the big picture. As long as it's coming from their unique soul plan, I'm happy. And still keeping in that mind, you know, where they are, where they want to be. Of course, you get to where you want to be, then there's another level. Okay, what does that look like? So as we
Mhm.
go to another level, there's just this beautiful reassessment of where we are and where we're going.
Yes, I call that peeling the onion.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I talk to people, I say, look, you, congratulations, you just peeled this layer right off. And if you look down inside that onion, you can see down deep, 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 there's a probably some kind of dark kernel down there that you're far away from. And it never stops. They think, oh, personal development. Yeah, I got this. Yeah, I read all the Mel Robbins books. Yes, I've got this. Yeah, I can do this. I said, that's just the plateau you've just reached. When you move into the next season, there'll be something else that would challenge you. If you are out into the world and you're open to exchanging ideas with other people, and
Yes.
one season leads into another, and I've told people many times, the stuff I learned in sales and marketing, selling reagents because I was a medical technologist and I used to use those reagents, all those tools, those techniques, all those things that I used back then, it just folds into what I'm doing now. It just moves forward. You know, isn't there's never any skill that you don't that you just like kick aside. It just comes along with you. So in a way, you're never a beginner ever again
That's
because
exactly
you've got all that stuff with you and you know how to learn.
that's exactly why there's no time really ever wasted. You
True.
know, sometimes people will say, "Oh my goodness, I did this and it didn't really turn out how it's supposed to," or you know, and it's almost like, okay, what did you learn from that though?
Mhm.
What did you learn from it? Like, what are those nuggets? What are those pieces? A lot of times the mind and the heart can sometimes go to what's working wrong, so much so, and have so much charge on it that it's hard for us to be able to fully see what goes right and embrace that. I was in the grocery store just a little bit before our call today, and I had my shirt on that says "Be Grateful," and there was this beautiful older lady in front of me, and she's like, "I'm trying to read your shirt," because it was in cursive, and I said, "It says be grateful."
Mhm.
And her daughter was like, "Oh yeah, so many people can can use that reminder." I said, "Yeah, that's why I wore the shirt, because it's that part of what we focus on expands."
Mhm.
What and so are we focusing on the things that aren't going right? Are we focusing on the problems versus the solutions? You know, all present challenges have solutions, especially, and a lot of times they start with you, like realizing what was. But there's a free gift I want to give your audience, if
Oh,
that's okay.
yay! Yay! And it'll be in the show notes for you folks when I get this up and running.
Yay! Okay, so there is a free gift that is called 7 Secrets to More Business and Life Harmony Success, where it kind of goes into some more of the things that we talked about here. I
Mhm.
share with them a great acronym for the word harmony. And then over the next 7 days, I share an acronym for that leads to the word freedom. So when there's harmony and there's freedom, especially within you, and prosperity and abundance within you, oh my goodness, it's so much easier to be able to connect and see and even receive more of the abundance and prosperity and freedom and harmony from others. So keeping that in mind, check out that guide, and Dr. Sally will put the link in the show notes for you.
Yes, and literally we could probably talk 2 or 3, 4 more hours here because there's so many big subjects that we haven't even touched on. And sometime in the future, I'm going to hop over on the other side and do a podcast with Dr. Heather, and then we
Yeah.
can continue this conversation. And anytime you want us to add something to what we might talk about, just drop it in the comments on the show when we do the show notes, because this will show up on all major podcasts as well. It'll be also on YouTube. So
Oh,
just drop it in
perfect.
comments and we'll read it and we'll incorporate it into the next time we do one of these chats, because by the time we meet the next time, there might be even a new thing that's occurred in the world of AI.
Oh, yes,
We don't
nice.
know.
I love that. And so my biggest takeaway for everyone who's listening today, no matter who you think you are, you're so much more than that. There is a uniqueness, there's a greatness, there's a value. There was a reason why you were called to be of service in this business. And now is the time for you to shine and show up in your full light. Lives are literally being lost as a result of you not showing up in your full light. And you can be able to utilize technology harmony to create more business harmony, which will definitely lead to more life harmony and create your unique piece on all sides.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And I'm just going to say, be on the lookout for us girls, because we're going to tackle some deep subjects. And thank you so much for joining us today. And again, this is Good Body, Good Brain podcast. And I look forward to you to joining our next episode.
Thank you.